I should just stop.
What is that? Why are they all just standing there? There's no birds. There's no bugs. There's nothing.
Shadar Logoth.
It means shadows waiting.
Sounds like the old tongue.
Most powerful cities in the world. Built their wall with no gate. Locked themselves inside. When the Trolloc Wars ended, survivors came here. There was no one inside. Ever since, the city's been abandoned.
That harmony of Saidin and Saidar, the dance of two halves we spoke of, gains its sharpest poignancy when we turn to Saidin itself, not as a balanced partner, but as a current twisted by shadow. Even before the Dark One's taint seeped into it during the breaking of the world, Saidin carried a raw, unforgiving potential for destruction, a force that demanded mastery or consumed the one who reached for it. It was never a power of gentle attunement like Saidar. It was a storm waiting to be harnessed, and even the most skilled hands risked being swept away. Luz Theron Telamon, the dragon reborn, who once sealed the Dark One's prison, learned this truth long before corruption took root. In the tales woven into the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time, we hear of how he shaped mountains with Saidin, how he split seas to protect his people, but also how a single misstep in channeling could level a village. Saidin did not yield to wishful thinking. It responded only to unbreakable will, and when that will faltered, its strength turned inward or outward, leaving ruin in its wake. Rand al'Thor felt this firsthand in the Eye of the World, when he first channeled to save Egwene from a Trolloc. He did not mean to shatter the trees around him or crack the earth beneath his feet. He only meant to defend. But Saidin's raw power did not distinguish between defense and destruction, not when wielded by a boy who had no idea how to hold it back. That was the danger inherent to Saidin. It was not malicious, but it was indifferent to fragility, a hammer that could build or crush depending on the hand that wielded it, and even the best hands could slip. For male channelers after the breaking, that slip became inevitable, for the taint turned Saidin's inherent danger into a death sentence, madness, a constant companion ticking like a clock in their heads. Rand's struggle with this is the beating heart of his journey, a nightmare he cannot outrun. In the fires of heaven, he begins to hear Luz Theron's voice, a whisper that grows louder, that accuses him, that begs for death, until he can no longer tell his own thoughts from the madman's. It is not just a hallucination. It is the taint eating away at his mind, turning his greatest strength into a weapon against himself. He locks himself in rooms to scream, he pushes away the people he loves because he fears the moment when the ticking stops and he becomes the monster the world already believes him to be. Logain Ublar, the former false dragon, knew this terror too. Before he was healed of the taint, he raved about visions of the Dark One, about enemies hiding in every shadow, and when the madness peaked, he lashed out at his own followers, good men who had pledged loyalty to him. The taint did not just make male channelers dangerous to others, it made them prisoners of their own minds, counting down the days until they lost themselves entirely. Even minor channelers, those with just a spark of Saidin, faced this fate. In the gathering storm, we meet a farmer who can channel just enough to mend fences, but who begins to see his wife as a dark friend, who swings the axe at her before he is stopped. The clock never stops ticking for them. Yet in that darkness, there is a tragic beauty, a glow of humanity that even the taint could not extinguish, a choice by some male channelers to transcend their fate, if only for a moment. Luz Theron, for all his madness, became Rand's greatest ally in A Memory of Light. When Rand stands at Sheol Ghul, ready to surrender to the Dark One, it is Luz Theron's voice that pulls him back, that reminds him of the people he fights for, that says, "We are one, Rand al'Thor. One soul, one heart." It is a moment of clarity in a lifetime of chaos, a proof that even a mind broken by the taint can hold on to purpose. Logain, too, found dignity in his struggle. Before his healing, he refused to be cowed by the White Tower's gentling. He chose to face his madness head-on, to retain his pride even as his mind frayed. And there is Tom Merrilyn's brother, Owen, a minor channeler we hear of in The Dragon Reborn. Owen knew the taint would drive him mad, but before it did, he used his small gift to heal sick children in his village, to mend roofs for the poor, to do good until the madness took over. He did not let the ticking clock define him. He defined the time he had. Rand, in his darkest hours, did the same. When he wanted to kill himself to end the madness, he thought of Egwene, of Mat, of Perrin, of the people who needed him, and he kept going. He did not transcend the taint by erasing it. He transcended it by choosing humanity over despair. Saidin, then, is more than a corrupted current. It is a mirror held up to male channelers, reflecting their strength and their fragility, their capacity for destruction, and their refusal to be destroyed. The raw power was always there, the madness a cruel addition, but the beauty, that came from the men who chose to fight, who chose to see themselves not as monsters, but as people, even when the world and their own minds told them otherwise. It is a tragedy that their dance with Saidin had to be so painful, but it is a beauty that they danced anyway. If Saidin is a corrupted current, wild, tragic, and unforgiving, then Saidar is its counterpoint, a flowing embrace that wraps around the weave rather than grappling with it. This difference is why the world of the Wheel of Time often sees Saidar as safer, more controlled, but that safety is not weakness. It is a gentle strength, rooted in attunement rather than dominance, a way of working with the weave instead of against it. Egwene Alver taught us this in The Eye of the World, when she first stumbled into Saidar while trying to calm a frightened horse. Unlike Rand, who grabbed Saidin like a lifeline and was nearly swept away, Egwene did not fight the power. She listened to it, the hum of air in her ears, the warmth of fire in her bones, and let it move through her. The weave bent not to her rage or fear, but to her focus, and in that moment, she wove a simple shield of air that quieted the horse. That is the heart of Saidar's perceived safety. It does not demand brute force, so it rarely spirals into destruction. Even Nynaeve Almira, whose temper is as fiery as any Saidin storm, learned this. In the Great Hunt, when she first tried to heal a wounded soldier, she fought Saidar, gripping it too tight, and the weave unraveled. It was only when she stopped struggling, when she let the power's flow guide her, that she mended his broken ribs. Saidar does not coddle its wielders, but it rewards patience, and that patience makes it seem more controlled. It is not less powerful, it is power with a softer edge. Yet female channelers who wield Saidar face challenges that male channelers, for all their struggle with madness, never know. The tangled politics of the White Tower, its strict hierarchy, and the rigid control that seeks to shape not just how they channel, but who they are. The Tower, the supposed home of Aes Sedai, is a web of rules. Novices must bow to accepted to Aes Sedai, and even Aes Sedai answer to the Merlin seat and the respective Ajahs. To step out of line is to face punishment, from being confined to cells, to having one's ability to channel restricted.